Hello and welcome to English 204, Introduction to Professional Writing. I'm Dr. Tirrell and I'll be your instructor this semester. The purpose of this video is to give you an introduction to the course website, which contains information about course policies, assignments, and due dates. This is a hybrid section of 204, which means that ordinarily we'll have one course meeting per week in our classroom. For us, that'll be on Tuesdays from 3:30 to 4:45 in Morton Hall, room 204. We'll also normally have one asynchronous online meeting on Thursdays, and that's where you'll do tasks independently, or rarely, usually once a semester, we'll have a synchronous chat. Because of this, the course website is absolutely crucial, so after watching this video, make sure to familiarize yourself with it thoroughly. The URL for it is here on this slide you can see. It's also in the information here on YouTube, and then you should have gotten an email from me with a link to it as well. It's important to note that this is a Google site, as you'll see. We only use Blackboard for grades and to proctor reading quizzes, so don't look for information on Blackboard. All that's there is grades, and when we do reading quizzes, we'll do them through Blackboard as well. But everything else is on this page. Okay, let's go ahead and get started here. Let me back out of this. So this is the home page, and you can see some consistent site features here. We've got the navigation tabs up top: home, syllabus, assignments, calendar, and grades. And then over here we've got a sidebar that's got course information, the section, our meeting times, which again is Tuesdays 3:30 to 4:45 in Morton 204. And then Thursday, you'll be doing tasks independently. There's also instructor information, my name and email address, my office, which is Morton 161, and my hours are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 to 1. If that doesn't work, you can set up an appointment with me or email me questions as well. This homepage collects updates and news. It's not unusual for there to be only this message through the whole semester. But sometimes we will have updates that need to get posted here. And when that happens, it'll just be here on the home page. The syllabus here, no big surprises here, but you do want to read through all these course policies, so that you understand how the grade breaks down and, technology use policy and all that. And you want to make sure you know these thoroughly, because you will be signing a course contract right at the beginning of the semester indicating that you understand the policies and you're going to abide by them. One optional thing on the course contract is that by default, you give me permission to use student work anonymously for teaching and research purposes, which means showing a previous student's example in class for an assignment, or publishing things in an aggregate, so 80% of students did this or that. If for whatever reason you want to opt out of that, you can initial here on the contract, and I just won't include your stuff. The other main thing on the syllabus here is the book. It's The Essentials of Technical Communication by Elizabeth Thibault and Sam Draga. You can get that really anywhere. The bookstore's got it. Amazon does. You can get it from rental sources. It looks like this. It's the 4th edition. Make sure you get the 4th, not the 3rd. The 4th is relatively recent. I think it came out last year, or right at the beginning of this year or something. But that's the one we're using. So that's the syllabus. Do look over this on your own time, because we will be, abiding by these policies. The assignments here goes over the different kinds of assignments, and on the syllabus here it actually breaks down their grade weight. You can see the total and then where that comes from in terms of different kinds of projects. On the assignments page here, we've got explanations of what each of these are. Engagement assignments, these are small things we'll do inside and outside of class to keep the course moving and to keep everyone on the same page. So workshop activities, that kind of thing. Reading quizzes and reading responses, those both pertain to readings in the textbook that we'll do. Almost exclusively. We may be doing some reading outside of the textbook, but almost all of these pertain to the textbook. So we will occasionally have quizzes, multiple choice questions, They're each worth 5 points. I believe all of them are, in fact, 5 questions, 1 point each. And you can see from the calendar, I believe we have 5 total reading quizzes. So that'll be 25 points total there. Reading responses are very similar. They also pertain to chapters that we'll read, but they're brief written statements that you'll do outside of class. Usually you'll be doing these on Thursdays, when we don't meet. So you can think of both of these, they have to do with reading. Some of them will be in-class quizzes, and then we'll have sort of outside of class written work. These are also worth 5 points a pop, and you should have 6 of these, I believe. Yeah, so that would be 30 total points there. So that's all of that. Then we've got our 3 main projects: the corporate communication project, the instructions project, and the service learning project. Only the corporate communications project is linked right now because I don't put these up until we're going to do them. It prevents students from accidentally clicking the wrong thing, which does happen because there's a lot of stuff on each one of these. But we'll take a look at our first one because we're going to jump into it immediately. The corporate communication project. We're not going to pour over this. We'll take a look at it when class begins. But you can see the structure here, right? A summary of what we're going to be doing, and then a section of deliverables in terms of what you're actually turning in, points breakdown, and these will all be linked as we go. One thing to point out is it's not like I'll just dump the information on you and then you turn it in at the end. We do all this stuff as we go along. Even though this is a hybrid, this is a class where we're all on the same page, and we do these things progressively. So that's the assignments page. Moving on to the calendar, and this is almost certainly the page you're going to be consulting way more than the rest. If you look at the calendar here, it breaks down the entire semester. This is everything we're going to do. And as we go along here, I'll be adding links. So all you really have to do is follow along with the calendar, click what's there, and that'll keep you current with everything that's going on. And you can also see ahead of time what we're going to be doing in case you need to schedule things, right? So let's take a look at how the calendar works here. So the rows obviously break down the days here, right? So you can see they're 23rd, 28th, that sort of thing. There are 3 columns here: the date, what's due at the beginning of class, or 3:30 p.m. You'll notice that that is both in class and out of class, right? So we'll have things due technically at the beginning of class, even on Thursdays, which are our online periods. The gray here signifies it's an online period. The white signifies it's in class. And so you can see on the 28th, right, we've got the course contract's going to be due at the beginning of the hour. You need to have read the first chapter in our textbook. You do have to get that textbook immediately because we use it right off the bat. And you need to have read through the corporate communication project information. But then you'll notice here on August 30th, which is a Thursday, you still have stuff due technically by 3:30 on that day. That's essentially our deadline, right? Stuff has to be due then, right? And then this column here, the agenda, that's what we're going to be doing in class. So this first day, obviously nothing's due. And it's an online period, so you're going to watch this video. So you're doing that right now. You can check that off. And then you'll be submitting this personal introductions post, which is linked, right? As it says here, unless otherwise indicated, agenda items scheduled for online periods are due before midnight of the same day. So for online periods, things that you have to do should be done that day. That's what that means. So after watching this video, you have until the end of the 23rd here to submit this personal introductions post. You'll notice on the 28th, that's an in-class period. These are the things we're going to be doing. Right? We're going to be going over our first project. We'll do our first reading quiz in class. We're going to talk about the course, and we're going to look at the first sort of small activity related to our project. Then on Thursday the 30th, you'll have these 3 things to do by then: the intention document, That's a part of your project here. And then 2 chapters to read. And then by midnight of the 30th, you'll be completing 2 reading responses. Those will be linked then. You'll notice I don't put most of the links up until we get a little bit closer, again, so that students don't click things accidentally. All right, so that's how the calendar works. This will make sense, within the first week or 2. I realize it's a lot of stuff, but part of being in a hybrid section is you do have to be more autonomous, and so following the calendar is the way to do that. It's the way to succeed. I do want to quickly just take a look at this personal introductions post, since I won't see you in person before then, just so that we're all clear about how to do it. For all of these things, you just sort of have to click, and it'll walk you through what to do. This is the sort of standard thing you do at the start of class in a lot of sections. You've got your name, a few sentences about yourself, your major, your year, that sort of thing. What your definition of professional writing is, and what are some examples of that in your field. One thing about this course is we get people from all over the university. It is the major gateway course for the professional writing major, but we get a lot of people from every other discipline. So I want you to find some examples of professional writing in your field. That'll be easy. It's everywhere. Expectations of the course, your comfort level with a hybrid section, and then a question you have about the course. So one useful thing is you can't submit this until you fill it out, so you don't have to worry about accidentally hitting submit. It won't take it. Another thing that I always tell students is, since we're going to be using these kinds of forms, I always really encourage people to compose in a separate program and then copy and paste your answers over, because you never know what's going to happen. You submit a form and it freezes, or it just shows you a blank page and you don't know what's happened. Or, as always happens here at UNCW, usually near the end of the semester, the power blitzes. So I always tell students to write and save these, and then just copy and paste them over. So, do your introduction question here. The next one's asking about what professional writing is, right? Do this in something like Word, save it, and then just copy and paste this over. That way, if anything goes wrong at any point, you've got a backup. That's just one of the key things about working with digital technology. It's going to fail. That's a promise. It will. So you need to make sure that you're not going to lose everything. And it's really easy to do that. This is probably pretty self-explanatory. This is your first engagement assignment, right? One of those small things we do to keep the course moving. And it also lets me know that you're able to submit forms, because we will be doing that throughout the semester. So that's the calendar. As I say, this is probably the most important page. You're probably going to be using it a lot more than anything else. And it's all laid out here, so you just have to follow along, click what you need to click, and do what you need to do. The last link here, grades, this will take you to our Blackboard shell. As I say, Blackboard is really only used for grades, and when we do reading quizzes, we'll do them through Blackboard. But otherwise, everything is on this page. So that's the gist of this. It's all I've really got to say here. So we've got the grades page, the calendar section, assignments, syllabus, and then the home. Make sure to go through this and familiarize yourself with it. It's not like there's a ton of stuff here, and it's all pretty, structured. But you do want to make sure you know how to use it. You also want to make sure you get your book immediately. I always get people, the first, second, third week saying, I don't have my book. I can't do anything for you. You need to get your book. It's part of being a college student. So get your book immediately, because we're going to be using it right from the jump. If you have any questions about any of this, you can, of course, contact me. Okay, so that's the gist of this. Again, welcome to the course. I'm excited about it. I've taught this class, I don't know, 1,000,000 times. But it's one I like because The things you learn in here, we focus on rhetoric. We don't always call it that, but the ability to take apart a situation and then figure out how to respond appropriately through some form of communication. That skill, that's going to be immediately useful for you in every other facet of your life, right? It's not like we're just trying to teach you, okay, well, here's how to write a memo or here's how to write a letter or something like that. That's useful, but that's going to change when you go from situation to situation. It's going to have its own conventions depending where you are. But rhetoric, finding out who am I talking to, right? What's the audience? What are the expectations here? What's the background information? What do I want to accomplish? And then how do I shape my documents to do that? I mean, that kind of communication is probably one of the most important things in your life. I mean, that's what humans do. As I mentioned, this is a hybrid section. That does mean that there's a little bit more onus on you to be personally responsible for yourself and your own success. You're going to be doing a lot of stuff independently. I mean, half the course is independent. But you can always contact me with questions. You can always come to office hours. That's not cheating. That's what you're supposed to do. I'm more than happy to help you succeed in this course. I hope you find it to be challenging and rewarding. I'm looking forward to the semester. I'll see you all in class. If you have any questions right now, just shoot me an email. My address is there on the webpage. All right, I'll see you then.